News 8, the 10 o'clock update with Iola Johnson and Tracy Rowlett. Troy Dungan with weather and Vern Lundquist with sports.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Iola and Tracy are on vacation. American foreign policy experts are busy tonight. Their attention split between two Central Asian countries, Iran and Afghanistan. In Afghanistan, Russian troops are reportedly locked in battle with units of the Afghan army. The street fighting directly contradicts Russian statements that they were invited into Afghanistan by that country's government. As many as 70,000 Russian troops are inside Afghanistan or in staging areas near the border, and several thousand of the Russian troops are reportedly within 100 miles of the Iranian border. President Carter tonight, angered by what he considers Soviet duplicity, came close to calling Soviet leader Brezhnev a liar.
He claimed office.
Meanwhile, the militant students in Tehran tonight insist their American hostages all will be tried as spies. That move comes in response to a vote by the UN Security Council today to impose economic sanctions against Iran if the hostages are not freed by Monday. To encourage a resolution of the crisis before the deadline, UN Secretary General Kurt Waldheim is on his way to Tehran tonight. The militant students have agreed to meet with Waldheim tomorrow, but say his mission will have no effect on the hostages. We get more on the UN action tonight from ABC's Lou Chiaffi.
UN.
4 American hostages who were shown making statements critical of the U.S. government tonight on national television may have had a simple motive: to show friends and family that they're okay. That word comes from a psychiatrist who has spent years studying hostage situations around the world. Dr. David Hubbard says the visit of 3 American clergymen, shown in a film that was released today by militant Iranians, may have been the best thing that has happened to the hostages. This is how the hostages spent their visit with the 3 American clergymen. The film was edited by the Iranian militants holding the hostages for maximum propaganda value. One psychiatrist, an expert on hostage situations, says the militants may have unwittingly helped the hostages stand up to the terrible mental pressures of captivity, because the visit provided the hostages with a link to the outside world. Why then did 4 of the hostages go on television making statements critical of U.S. policy in Iran? Dr. Hubbard suggests 2 theories. He says some hostages' reaction to captivity, isolation, and the threat of death is an automatic withdrawal into a state similar to hibernation. Others, he suggests, simply wanted a chance to show loved ones they're okay. Hubbard says the captives who resist brainwashing attempts will likely suffer the fewest psychological problems if they are eventually freed. But he points out the decision to resist or cooperate is something the hostages may not be able to consciously control. He says the visit of the clergyman to the captured embassy is a healthy sign and increases the possibility the hostages will eventually be freed. With tension building around Iran tonight, Vietnam is showing signs it wants to ease relations with the U.S. The brother and the sister of a former South Vietnamese fighter pilot have been allowed to come here to Dallas to try to save their brother's life. Steve Forsberg reports. Dallas County Sheriff Carl Thomas tonight says he won't have anything to do with a consolidation plan aimed at saving taxpayers almost $500,000 a year. Channel 8's Kay Vinson reports the sheriff has told county commissioners he'll ignore the plan if it's approved.
Because I'm not going to.
A controversial teacher in Richardson has her job back tonight. That's one of the stories still to come. Please stay with us. A federal judge has ordered the Richardson Independent School District to rehire a woman who was fired 3 years ago because she was black. Abby Lorene Holly is also entitled, according to the court, to be paid wages lost during the 3-year struggle over her dismissal, plus attorney's fees, total $60,000. Ms. Holly, the first black teacher at Stultz Elementary School, was dismissed after striking a white student who she says took a swing at her and called her a nigger. School attorneys argued she was fired for violating corporal punishment rules. But Judge William Taylor found that white teachers who broke the same rules never got fired. Neither school district attorneys nor Ms. Holly would comment on the ruling today. 5 million Americans will get a raise in pay tonight at midnight. The minimum wage goes from $2.90 to $3.10 an hour. But for another substantial portion of the workforce, take-home pay will be cut. More tonight from Channel 8's John Criswell. The Federal Aviation Administration has grounded a Dallas-based American Airlines pilot and his co-pilot after a near miss with another plane this month in Los Angeles. An FAA spokesman tonight says the American Airlines plane was given the go-ahead to taxi to the edge of a runway, but that instead the plane taxied onto the runway, narrowly missing another plane that was taking off at the time. Most people are familiar with the Bill of Rights. It was provided for all of us by the founders of this country. But you may not know that hospitals also have a patient's Bill of Rights. Channel 8's Dennis Johnson tells us what they are.
News.
Now, I thought you were supposed to bring the hors d'oeuvres and the champagne. Now he's telling me I'm supposed to have brought
I'll tell you
them.
what I will do, though. I will take us personally to Times Square in New York in
a
few
plane?
moments. No, by the magic of television.
Okay.
Called chroma key, I think.
It's called cheap.
Scrubs once a month during the winter because the root systems are still growing. Happy New Year, Margulies.
Thank you, Troy. I saw a couple of muggers I knew way down in there. We'll be back with sports in just a minute. I will be back. You'll be back. Can you change the outcome of the game?
I wish I could. I was standing down there on the sideline. Everybody was pretty stunned when the Rams scored with just over 2 minutes. His work and his presence will be sadly missed. David, that's about it for sports.
Thank you very much. We have time to wish everybody a very, very Merry New Year and Happy Christmas and all of that. I should tell you, since we do have a second, that Iola and Tracy still are here, and Vern are still here. Iola and Tracy have been on vacation, and they are coming back next week. At least Iola is. She better come back next week. But I'm told that she is. Do you have any last Happy New Year wishes here?
Well, I'd like to wish Troy and you a Happy New Year.
Well, thank you.
Everybody out there, good luck in 1980.
And since I have the last word here, Happy New Year. Thank you very much for joining us here at Channel 8. Have a great year. Thank you.